All right, hey guys, welcome to the second iteration of HEL-STARs Bourbon. I've got a new guest with us today, so Pat Hickcox is here from Emerging Tactical Solutions. I've known Pat for quite a long time, but for anybody that doesn't know Pat, we'll let Pat do a little bit of intro. But we are here, 2023 SHOT Show. We are in the Core Survival booth, hanging out, drinking some bourbon, and having a little podcast. So, Pat, thanks for coming on board, and give a little intro of yourself, let everybody know who you are and what your story is.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Super cool. Pat Hickcox. I am native of Arizona. Joined the Army out of high school, did 5 years. Nothing super cool, just an MP, military police. But did 5 years, did 3.5 in Germany. Got to work with the criminal police over there, which was kind of cool. Got out, went to work for Maricopa County Sheriff's Office in Phoenix. Did 23 years there full-time, and then 7 years reserve time afterwards. Kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. So you've heard me tell this story, right? So I think I probably had 21, 22 different assignments over that period of time. Full-time team leader of full-time SWAT unit, homicide supervisor, multi-agency drug task force. It really ended my career last couple of years as a academy class sergeant, which was kind of nice. Retired a few years ago and been kicking around some other things and hanging out with you.
Good deal. I like it. So Pat is the owner of Emerging Tactical Solutions. Pat sells night vision, so sells various types of night vision, helmets, gear. I mean, you've sold and peddled quite a lot of different tactical gear over the years, and then also night vision training, and that's how I met Pat. So a little quick story on Pat and I, how we got to know each other. My years working for Core after I retired out of the military, Marcia was doing some business with Pat through Emerging Tactical, selling some of the strobe lights, and mentioned that, him and I needed to talk. He was doing night vision training, and I was thinking about getting into it, just, was getting a lot of requests for it. So met Pat at an NTOA conference, and where the heck was that one? Phoenix? Oh, yeah. They're right in your backyard.
Yeah.
So in Phoenix, Arizona, we sat down, chatted, talked about what Pat was already doing on the night vision training side, and just hit it off. Sometimes when you meet that person that, just a good, solid, legitimate person, honest. We just clicked. And started saying, hey, let's teach a class together. So our first class we taught in Tucson, Arizona, and just had a great time. Pat likes to drink bourbon, so I knew, hey man, this is a friendship.
The truth is, I never drank bourbon until I met him. Now,
Pat likes to drink bourbon.
Taste.
Yeah, you're right, because I think the first time we got to drink some bourbon at the class, and I remember you busting out some Pepsi, and I'm like, oh man, Pat, I don't know how this is gonna go, man. We may have to break up now. But as you can see, right, no mixers anymore. Yeah, Pat stepped his game up, but so we started teaching night vision classes together, and 1 minute out, Emerging Tactical Solutions kind of merged, doing a lot of night vision training all over the country. Gosh, we've taught, I don't know how many classes together, all over the place. Texas, Arizona a couple times, Tucson was a great location. Yeah, Connecticut,
Michigan.
We've done some stuff for NTOA, Florida. We've been all over the place training. So we've known each other now for quite a few years. It's been, absolutely been a blast. Love training with you, and drinking bourbon. So we've got a few questions. Obviously we promoted this on our social media. We've got the next ones coming up that are being promoted on social media. So guys, if you have any questions, get in there, ask them, so that we can ask our guests, questions that you may have. So one of them, Juddy113 has a question. What led you to make Emerging Tactical Solutions, and what's the most fun class that you can remember?
Good questions. So kind of a little bit of a long story. I'll try to shorten it up. But I was working as a technical rep for a bunch of different companies, Surefire, Triticon, after I had retired from the sheriff's office. And to be honest with you, it was such a great job. I didn't really trust that it was going to stick around for very long, and I thought, I really need a backup plan of some sort. And then my granddaughter was about to be born, and wanted to help my kids out with a little bit of extra cash, and so we formed this company kind of on the side. And at first, we were kind of trying to do a little bit of everything for everybody. Really, it was okay in the beginning, but as time went on, we started focusing more and more on night vision, which is really where we found our identity, I think.
Yeah. And then what was probably the most fun class?
That's easy. That's easy. First class with him, Tucson. It was just cool. I mean, we had met twice before in person before the class at NTOA and then at WebTAC down in Tucson. And like Jamey said, the chemistry was just good. I think we started the class, I introduced myself as Jamey Caldwell and said, that's Pat Hickcox. And, it was like some of the guys in the class kind of knew me already. They're like, what? But it was just fun. It was cool to see how, things meshed the way we did things, and it was just so seemless. It was a really good time.
Yeah,
class.
We definitely had a fun time with that one. I mean, I shot tons of steel. We were shooting at night, shooting various competitions. I mean, the class itself. So our night vision training and class has adopted and changed so much from that first class in Tucson. We were feeling each other out. We were figuring it out. What we wanted to do, how each other taught, and we meshed very well in the classroom environment, working off of each other and each other's experiences and knowledge. And then, the range stuff was fun. For me, I'd say when I first came into it was like, oh man, we need to do more shooting. And Pat's like, well, this isn't really like shooting, it's more night vision. And, now it's kind of come full circle right back to that. So, I just enjoy shooting and love shooting, but, we see that the night vision training is more about the gear, the equipment, what you have that's compatible and understanding all of it. So we have to understand fully our night vision, how to use it, how to fully use it to its fullest capabilities, understanding everything it can do, your laser, all the added things you have on the gun, the white lights, the IR, your helmet strobe lights, how they work, how to utilize them, how to use all the different color configurations, for the core strobe, when to use the dim setting versus the bright setting. We go through all of that and just really make sure that the users, when they leave there, are very familiar with all their gear and get hands-on with all of it through. And it doesn't have to incorporate a ton of shooting. No. We still do a bunch of good shooting. Yeah. The drills are different than a shooting class. They're very
night vision specific.
They're night vision specific. They're very scenario based. Yep. Is where I like to say that it went, so that every drill has a purpose. It's probably a scenario that you or I have seen in combat or, in your duty on the street and using it in SWAT and in different places. So it's grown a lot. And definitely that first class though was fun and we had a good time with it.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got another one coming from Tribal Juke. What is your favorite firearm and why?
Probably an MP5. That's what I started off with in SWAT. It was just a cool gun, used in lots of movies at the time. It was kind of the cool, sexy guy gun, sweet to shoot. I ended up buying one and owning one at one time. So it was just, cool gun.
Yeah,
cool
nice,
gun.
man. Yeah. I honestly thought that you were going to say a friggin' 6-gun. The old wheel gun, 6 years. Yeah, man, where's the cowboy hat? I mean, you are a legitimate cowboy, not one of these new Yellowstone cowboys that we all see out there. Like, you own a ranch, and you are. But no, that's cool. All right, so we got 66 Gunner Fist. What is a skill set or experience from your career that's changed your life?
Pretty easy. Night vision. So, little story, and Jamey's heard this in the past. So I told you I had been in the Army 1980 to 85. Well, Q as to how old I am, right? And I got out, went to work for the sheriff's office. In 2003, May of 2003, right after Iraq War kicked off, I told my wife, I'm like, I'm still young enough, and I kind of got some skills. I felt like I had something to contribute. So went back in the Army after being out for 17 years, 360 days. So I go to Iraq 04, 05, and one day my boss, a major, comes up and he hands me this green bag and says, you're going to need this for the mission tonight. And I unzip the bag and I look in and I see what I think is a night vision device. Later I find out it's a PVS-14. I didn't know what it was. There was no instruction on, hey, this is how you put a battery in, this is how you turn it on, this is how you focus it, nothing. I literally had to go scrounge a mount for my helmet, the shroud, because I didn't even have that. So within a couple of hours of getting this bag, I have to set it all up and go out on a mission in Baghdad, Iraq, 2004. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me, right? So that experience led me to really starting this training course for SWAT guys, for law enforcement, because I understood that there was nothing available for them, or very, very little available for them, and it was such a great tool. It was a game changer. And so, yeah, that's it. Night vision.
That's crazy because we, in the classes, we hear some stories from guys, and when you tell that, I mean, you're not the only one. I'm sure some of you viewers out there can experience the same exact thing. I mean, some guys, even in the military, the first time that you see night vision, it's handed to you, and literally you're just expected to go out there and use it just like it's daytime.
Yeah.
And that's a big reason why we're out there teaching this, is to share the knowledge and the experiences we have to get rid of that, to make that shortcut, make that leap, get rid of the unknown, and hopefully make everybody after they come through a course, at the next level where they're ready to go operate. I mean, everything that we do in the classes, we make sure that if a call went out, at the end of day 2 or the end of day 3, those guys could grab their gear and go out and be successful with their gear. So yeah, it is, man. It's sad, but it's still happening.
Yeah.
I mean, in units, they just, hey, here you go, welcome to the unit. Yep, we run nods, and here's your gear. Go do training.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of actual night vision training out there, which is weird, but it's still happening. So,
yeah.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah. So he actually, I don't know, maybe 14 years ago, I helped start our state SWAT association, Arizona, and I was on the board, and as we were getting going, obviously the goal was to provide training for guys who weren't getting it, not getting enough of it. And having had that experience with night vision, I would ask guys like, hey, do you guys have night vision? Most of the time they said no at that time. Few guys would say, yeah, we got it. And so I always had that follow-up question, great that you have it, are you using it operationally? And across the board, the answer was no. And of course I knew why.
Yep.
They just didn't know what to do with it.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I mean, we had one of our classes where they were ready to go grab somebody up at night under nods. There was a helo, like sparkling, IR where the dude was in the middle of this field, and the commander told them to stand down and wait till daylight because they didn't have proper training on their night vision. They had the gear, they had, full visibility on where the guy was, under nods, had all the tactical advantage, and were told stand down because they didn't have the training. And then that's when, we get the call, hey, we need some training, let's go do this. So yeah, crazy. But so break from a couple of the questions real quick. Obviously this is HEL-STARs and Bourbon. Let's talk a little bit about what we're drinking. All right, today's selection, what do you think of it?
I love it.
Yeah,
love it.
So this is a favorite of mine, Angel's Envy. You can't go wrong. If you guys are just getting into bourbon, this is a great bourbon to start with. It's finished in a port wine barrel, so after the aging process for bourbon, it becomes a bourbon, minimum of a 2-year aging process to become a bourbon, majority corn mash, all these things. Once it's done, then it's further put into port wine barrels to age. So then it's aged again in port wine barrels. It just gives it a really unique taste. It's a Kentucky bourbon. Angel's Envy, I've followed them for years. It's a staple at my house. I've probably got about 4 bottles of the regular, I've got 3 of the cask strengths. I've got the rye. The rye is great. It's finished in a Caribbean rum cask. It's just a phenomenal bourbon. So any of you guys out there that are looking for a new bourbon, or if you haven't tried Angel's Envy, you definitely got to go get a bottle and try it out. All right, so back to the questions here. Teeny Tiny, 1129. We got a question for favorite hobby besides what you do for a career.
Easy. Ride my horse. Ride and train my horse. Grew up kind of in the country, rode horses, rodeoed in high school, rode bareback, broncs, saddle bronc, tried bulls. I'm really good at getting bucked off animals. But just enjoyed it. Enjoyed that lifestyle, that kind of agrarian, rural lifestyle. After high school, going in the Army and becoming a cop and all that stuff, I kind of put all that behind me, and I kind of thought I was done with it. And 2 years ago, I bought my first horse. His name is Tucker. He's just a cool horse. So yeah, riding and training my horse, loving life. It's good stuff.
Good deal. Yeah, since I've known you, you've had some property. You got kind of a farm out there in Arizona. I mean, you're living amongst the elk, which I was mind blown. I mean, I grew up on the East Coast, spent my whole career on the East Coast. Meet Pat, and I've spent some time in Arizona. Obviously our free fall courses out there, and done some stuff out in Arizona and Texas, and seen that side of the country. Which at first, the first time, I'm not gonna lie, the first time that I went to Arizona, I'm like, there's no grass out here. Like, there are no trees. Like, this is the desert. How do people live like this? Yeah. Just because of living on the East Coast, but it grew on me. Yeah. And then, when you and I started talking and start hearing about, you live in Arizona, and then you're sending me pictures from your cabin with elk running around. I'm like, elk? Yeah. Dude, you're in Arizona. What do you mean? It's like desert. It's rock. Like, what? Yeah, so you've got some unique properties, and man, you're blessed. So
dude.
Yeah, I have to get out there. As long as we've known each other, I've yet to come out there. Not because it's short of an invite.
You guys are hearing this, right?
Yes.
It's on film.
He's invited me numerous times, many years in a row, but it's been on me. I've got a few things on my plate, so a little bit busy, but I plan to get out there. If not this year, it will happen very, very soon.
Good.
All right, so we got another question here. Stunt Daddy 412. Gotta love all these names, right? Where should I eat in Vegas during SHOT Show?
Oh. So I'm not from Vegas, so my knowledge is somewhat limited. But a few years ago, I went to the Hofbrauhaus. Great place, good food, especially if you like German food. I spent 3.5 years in Germany. Love it. But the atmosphere and the antics is just crazy and cool. It's a very lively, good place to go. Check it out, Hofbrauhaus.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been out. The question isn't for me, but I'm gonna throw some in there. I went out to dinner the other night with my buddies from Optics One, and we went to a Korean barbecue. And I've traveled the world. I've been to Korea, been to a bunch of places. I have never been to Korean barbecue, and this was a first for me. I've done fondue in different places, with the wife, and go cook things, on the little fondue. But this, you cook at the table. So the table has a cutout in the center, and there's a little, almost looks like a disc kind of grill. And you order, for us, we just did the all-you-can-eat. It was like $20 a person. I mean, super cheap.
Wow.
You get all the meat you want. So we ordered brisket, we ordered some ribeye, we had some shrimp, we had vegetables, you get rice, and you cook it yourself. So talk about a good business plan. Like, hey, let's open up a restaurant. We don't need any chefs. You're like, wait, what? You're like, no, they're just going to cook the food themselves.
Labor costs are way down.
I mean, it's an absolute hit. And now I've learned that we've got some in Raleigh, there's some in Charlotte, so there's some near me. They're all over. If you guys haven't checked it out, Korean barbecue, it was phenomenal. I mean, we left there absolutely stuffed. The food was phenomenal. And I guess you really, they have a good plan also, because you can't really knock it because you cook it yourself. So if you're like, it was shit, well, that's kind of on you, because I cooked it, so it was it's crazy, plan. But that was neat. That was the first time I had that in Vegas. So let's talk about, right? So we are here at SHOT Show, right? New product, tons of new stuff coming out from a bunch of different companies out here. And today I didn't get much time to walk around the show to see what everything is new. We'll definitely incorporate that into tomorrow's podcast or the next day. We'll see what else is out there, what's new. Pat, did you get a chance to walk much and see anything new?
Just a couple of booths, mostly to see guys, reconnect.
Okay.
But didn't get a chance to see a lot of new product.
So we'll do that, but for one of the things that we have new here in the booth here at Core Survival, which anybody that's at the show, right, 62003, make sure you stop in here at Core Survival, come check us out. We're downstairs in the law enforcement rooms. You can find us 62003, or you can just get on the app and just punch in Core Survival. But definitely come and check this out. So we have been working on this thing for quite a while. I've been running this helmet now for 2 years. Anybody that's come to one of my MVG classes, our MVG classes, has seen me run this thing. I've been beating it up. I am in love with this helmet setup, but this is the whole new powered helmet system, this rail link from Gentex Ops Core. It incorporates our new rail strobe. So we developed a new strobe light for this helmet system. So you have a powered rail that powers our rail strobe. So we got both visible and IR, low and high power on our strobe lights, really slick. The battery is all from this battery pack, so no batteries involved. Super slick helmet, lightens everything up. Surefire has their light on here. Princeton Tech has theirs. You can get power from the front of the rail for your NVGs. It's an awesome package. We've got it here in the booth. Come by here, check this thing out. The whole rail link and rail strobe system that we've done. It's been, in the works for a while. I'm glad we finally got to launch this thing out there and get it out there, and the sales are rolling in. But come by the booth, come check this out here, 2023 at SHOT Show. And of course, see all the other vendors that are here and all the new products, and we'll have some more stuff for you tomorrow. But man, it's been awesome.
I'm gonna just jump in here for a second, because Jamey mentioned earlier that I'm blessed because of the properties I've got and the things that I get to do in my life. No doubt about it. Another reason I'm blessed is because Marcia introduced us, and great guy. But aside from that, if you're looking for training, if you're looking for knowledge, honestly. And I've twisted everybody. I've asked as many questions as I could ask from as many people as I could, trying to learn as much as I could about night vision. There is nobody that I've ever met that has the knowledge about all things encompassing night vision and operating with night vision equipment in no light scenarios. He's an amazing cat, and he's responsible for a lot of cool products that have been developed by a number of different companies, not just Core. But I've been blessed to hang out with this dude. So
I pay him to say that shit.
Not enough,
I pay him well.
But,
yeah. Pay him in bourbon, whatever. But no, dude, cheers. It's been an honor to have you on the podcast. It's been a good time, man. It's always great catching up with you. It's always great teaching with you. I am looking forward to the next time, because there is never a last time that we teach class together, right? But yeah, thank you guys for joining us. This is HEL-STARs Bourbon, live at the 2023 SHOT Show. Make sure you guys come to the booth, come check us out, come see Pat. He's hanging out for a short period of time, but definitely, man, HEL-STARs Bourbon. Appreciate it, brother.
Thanks.